Good evening and welcome to a continuation of election programming for campaign 2021 that we are doing here at Cayuga Community College for the elections that take place on November 2nd. I'm your moderator, Guy Cosentino. On November 2nd, voters in Cayuga County get to elect a new surrogate court judge. Mark H. Vandrick, who was elected 2 decades ago, has decided against running for a third 10-year term this year. And so we are delighted to have in the studio with us two candidates who are running to succeed him. They are sitting in the order of a coin toss. They are Benjamin Sussman, who's on the Democratic and Working Families line, and the current district attorney, John Budelman, who is on the Republican, Conservative, and Independent line. Unlike races for other offices, we don't ask the judicial candidates questions, as we did a couple of years ago with the city court. We allow them to introduce themselves and give you a better idea of who they are and to get to know them. With that in mind, we are giving them each up to 5 minutes to talk about themselves in an uninterrupted format. Through a flip of a coin, they have been decide where they will sit. And then when we finish, I will have some closing comments on the race. I will also be the timekeeper for this. So the candidates know that I'll hold up a yellow card when they have 30 seconds left and then a red card so that they can finish their statements. So we'll start with our first candidate, Benjamin Sussman, who's a local attorney. He's on the Democratic and Working Family lines. Mr. Sussman, welcome. You have 5 minutes.
Thanks, Guy. So my name is Ben Sussman. I'm obviously, as Guy said, I'm running for this Cayuga County Surrogate Court judge position. I'm an attorney here in Auburn, and my practice is dedicated to representing people in Cayuga County in many areas of law, including the criminal courts, family courts, and surrogates court, as well as I do some real estate work as well. My wife Maggie grew up in Auburn. We got married several years ago, and while we were living out in California, we decided to move back here to Maggie's hometown to raise our 2 children, Bowden and Ruby. And we're so thankful to be here. We're raising our children in this community, and we're glad every day that we made that decision. I'm running for this position because I know that our community deserves a judge that understands the real issues facing families in our community. I'm an active member in our community, both in the legal world, representing children and families in the court system, as well as a board member for the Play Space, downtown Auburn, and also in many ways just donating to charity and other organizations in our community. I firmly believe that family is the foundation of our community. Our judicial system was built to uphold values that our community holds dear. Our communities have a wide range of needs, and the judicial system provides many services that suit those needs. It's critical that our next judge understands the different ways that our judicial system can improve the safety and prosperity of our community as a whole. As an attorney in downtown Auburn, I represent children and families every day. Family court alone makes up over 50% of the surrogate court judge position. It's a large amount of work, and it's a complex area that involves cases including neglect cases, custody cases, juvenile delinquency cases, and abuse cases. There's also the judge presides over divorce matters in the civil courts, and also adoptions and guardianships in the surrogates court. The cases are unique as each family is in our county, and I've seen the first-hand impacts that the judge's decisions have on real people and my clients. I work tirelessly to assist families through the judicial process on a daily basis, and I believe that the judge in the family court has a duty to make decisions that will be with integrity and honesty and in the best interest of the children of our community. I think it's extremely important for our next judge to have this important perspective of actually representing children and families in the court system if they're going to be sitting on that bench making decisions that are going to directly affect our county and our community and our children. In our county, the surrogate court judge also presides over criminal and civil matters as well as the surrogates court matters. I am the only candidate with the experience in all 4 of these areas of law. The experience I bring to the bench is critical in upholding each pillar of our justice system. I've represented children that have been removed from their parents. I've represented parents that have lost their children. Excuse me, there's a fly. I've represented, fathers that are fighting for custody of their children, to see their children. I've experienced all types of cases in the family court, especially, and I think that perspective is extremely important for the next judge to have. I've traveled all over this county since this race began. I've met families all over the county, Republican, Democrats. I've seen, all families from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, and there's one universal truth that I've encountered, and that's that family is the most important thing for our community and our people living here. Regardless of political party, regardless of any background, everybody holds dear their family, and I think the judge has to understand that. And I think the judge has to have experience in those courts, working with these families on a daily basis for years, to have that perspective and that compassion and understanding of how the family court works. As I said, it's over half the job alone. This year, the election's not about political parties for the judge position. It's not about how big your lawn signs are. It's about families, and it's about the judge that has the experience in all four of these family courts. The election is about the right experience for the job, and it's about the future of our children and our families and our community. And I ask you to choose me on Election Day, Ben Sussman, the only candidate with the right experience for this position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sussman. We'll now hear from Mr. Budelman, who is on the Republican, Conservative, and Independent lines. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Guy. I'm John Budelman, Cayuga County District Attorney, and I want to thank Cayuga Community College for hosting this event and giving me an opportunity to speak about my candidacy and qualifications for Cayuga County Surrogate Court Judge. This is an important position. It requires sound judgment, the kind that can only be attained through years of experience. I have 29 years legal experience handling criminal, civil, and family court matters. I began my legal career incorporating small businesses and advising them on contractual issues. Since joining the District Attorney's Office, I've been involved in numerous civil lawsuits. I joined the Cayuga County District Attorney's Office in 1995 and was promoted to Chief Assistant District Attorney that same year. In 2007, I was elected District Attorney, and I'd like to thank the voters of Cayuga County for putting your trust in me and choosing me as your District Attorney these past 4 elections. I have been honored to appear in court every week on behalf of the people of Cayuga County. The District Attorney's role, just as the judge's, is to ensure justice. This means a consideration of all of the factors in each case. It also requires knowledge of the laws and sentencing options in order to impose an appropriate sentence that avoids unnecessary incarceration while still protecting our community. I work with victims and their families every week to ensure that they get justice while treating everyone in the system fairly. I resolved thousands of felony cases successfully. I have prosecuted more than 100 felony trials resulting in guilty verdict on charges ranging from murder to sexual assault to drug sales and so on. The one universal truth in the justice system is we all want to live in a safe community. That's true regardless of your party, age, gender, or how much money you make. That's why the District Attorney's Office works so closely with our law enforcement and first responders to protect our community. And I'm honored to have been endorsed by the Auburn Police Department, New York State Police, Cayuga County Sheriff's Department Road and Jail Divisions, as well as lieutenants unions from the Cayuga and Auburn Correctional Facilities, corrections officers from Cayuga Correctional Facility, Council 82 of New York State representing law enforcement, and the Veterans Party, The District Attorney serves as legal advisor to all of these law enforcement agencies, but I've also served as legal advisor to more than 80 grand jury terms. There I was called upon to make determinations on the admissibility of evidence, issue cautionary instructions, limiting instructions, and at the end of the case, charge the jurors on the relevant law that they needed to apply. Jurors serve a critical role in our justice system. I want to take a moment to thank all of those jurors from Cayuga County who have served their community. The District Attorney's Office work goes beyond prosecuting cases. We work with local service providers such as Cayuga Counseling Services and SAVAR, who do a great job helping victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, and child abuse rebuild their lives and become survivors. But we also work with agencies such as CHAD, who give treatment to those suffering from drug and alcohol addiction, and groups such as HEAL and Nick's Right, who provide support for those in recovery. Our office has received numerous awards for work on behalf of domestic violence victims, as well as DWI and Appellate Prosecutor of the Year awards. In addition to my work at the District Attorney's Office, I have taught laws of evidence right here at Cayuga Community College since 1998. I've had hundreds of talented students come through my classroom, and I was pleased that many have chosen to stay here in a career in law enforcement. Outside of my work at the District Attorney's Office, I've served on the boards of directors for not-for-profit agencies and worked with community groups to address the serious issues that confront our community. My commitment to improving Cayuga County is not during an election year or even each election year. It's every year for the last 24 years. That's because Cayuga County is my home. My children were born and raised here. And it is these years of experience, both in and outside of the courtroom, that have given me the sound judgment and legal experience that qualify me to be surrogate court judge. On the other hand, my opponent has moved here from California 4 years ago, and simply put, our laws are different. Before I run out of time, I'd like to thank my family, friends, and supporters for all their hard work on my campaign, the Republican and Conservative parties for endorsing me, choosing me as their candidate for surrogate court judge, and the nearly 1,000 independent voters who signed my ballot petition to give me an independent line this November. On November 2nd, I respectfully ask all voters, regardless of your political affiliation, to vote for the only candidate with the legal experience, proven track record, and demonstrated commitment to Cayuga County. I respectfully ask that you cast your vote for Cayuga County Surrogate Judge to John Budelman. Thank you very much. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you. Thank you both for joining us today to talk about your credentials, and we wish you well on the campaign trail with a little less than a month ago, and thank you and your families for putting yourselves out there. Not always an easy task. If I could take a moment of personal privilege just to thank Mark Vandrick for his service. I had the delight of serving with Mark Vandrick on the City Council many years ago, many years that we most likely would like to forget time-wise. But he was a great and still is a great public servant in our community, and we thank he and his wife Jill and their family for their service to Cayuga County. Well, we are having this on the Auburn Pub website as well as the college's YouTube session. I'd like to remind you that we will be back in the studio next week with some programming notes. We will be off on Tuesday because of College Assessment Day, but we'll be back on Thursday the 14th with our next in a series of candidate forums. We'll have the candidates for the 11th District, the first of 3 forums with candidates located in the city of Auburn. And then the following week we will be back, well, I should say that on the 11th District it includes first-term legislator Elaine Daly, who is seeking re-election on the Democratic and Working Family lines, and Mario Campobello Jr., who is on the Republican and Conservative lines. We'll be back the following week with the candidates for the 13th and 15th legislative districts. These are one of the few open seats on the Cayuga County Legislature without incumbents running this year. And then we'll finish off with the Auburn City Council race on Tuesday, October 26th, when we have all 4 candidates coming to the studio. All of them will be questioned by Jeremy Boyer, the executive editor of The Citizen. And after that, we'll return to our normal programming on Election Day on November 2nd. Until next Thursday, for Cayuga Community College and The Citizen, I'm Guy Cosentino. Have a good night. Have a great tomorrow. Be safe. Be well.